Chinese peacekeepers are an increasing and welcome presence to overstretched UN peacekeeping operations from Sudan to Haiti and Liberia. With 115,000 blue helmets dispersed around the world on increasingly complex missions, the UN says it's grateful for the Chinese contribution. Alan Leroy is the United Nations Under-Secretary General for Peacekeeping Operations.
Their troops are very well disciplined, of course. The organization of their command structure is extraordinary, and it's easy when you go on the ground, whether Haiti or Darfur, the Chinese camp can be easily recognized. And the competence of the troops, their engineers, their doctors, are at a very high quality.
China doesn't provide combat troops, but it does provide medical teams, engineers, civilian police and military observers. Chinese diplomats at the UN say they want to project a reassuring, peaceful image, one of a responsible country. And China's ambassador to the UN, Zhang Yusui, says as the country develops, they will become more involved.
China is still a developing country and a low-income developing country. But I'm confident that as China develops, we'll be in a better situation to contribute more to United Nations peacekeeping operations.
The current commitment of 2,200 peacekeepers is not a large one for a country that has a standing army of more than 2 million. But it is valuable in terms of the image it projects in the international community, especially in Africa, where the deployment of its blue helmets coincides with a wave of Chinese investment.
Whenever there's peace, I think there will be opportunities for investment. So I think this is, very, very important for the business people as well.
Presently, China ranks far behind peacekeeping giants such as Pakistan, India, Bangladesh or Nigeria, but its contribution has surpassed that of most Western countries. China also has recently deployed several naval vessels to help combat piracy off the Somalia coast. Peacekeeping analyst Richard Gowan from the Centre on International Cooperation sees China as filling a gap that many Western powers cannot handle.
Western countries do not have the money and they do not have the troops to sustain significant peacekeeping outside Afghanistan and the Balkans. And China is taking advantage of that. It's filling the gap. And China is starting to look like a global power, while European countries especially are in retreat.
The UN hopes the Chinese surge will motivate other countries to follow suit. The United States and Britain have all downscaled UN peacekeeping, focusing more on providing money rather than troops. Former UN peacekeeping operations head Jean-Marie Guéhenno says that gives the impression to some that they don't care about UN operations. And he argues Chinese involvement may encourage other large powers to get back into peacekeeping.
I think it's not at all unthinkable that at some point there would be a greater re-engagement of the Western members of the Security Council in peacekeeping. And I think the engagement of China is an additional factor that may push in that direction. It's a good thing.
Around the world, blue helmets are the ambassadors of a new China. Nathan King for VOA News, New York.